What do you see? A scene that could come from the pages of National Geographic. This is a traditional Tibetan wedding. Look at the costume and culture and tradition and symbolism. Now compare that to a traditional American wedding. Coming up, we have my parents' wedding. This is 1981 in Vermont. And it's easy to forget that our own weddings have just as much tradition and symbolism. Think of exchanging rings, or breaking a glass, or even throwing rice. And at the center of our weddings is the most prominent symbol. The thing that we can't take our eyes off of. The thing that grabs our attention. The thing that shows up in tabloids across the world. Pippa's rear ends. Or for the rest of us, it's usually the wedding dress. But really, the wedding dress really is. It's more than just the garment. And with all the hype and pressure our culture puts on finding the perfect wedding dress, you'd think that wedding dresses really were perfect from start to finish. But in reality, surprise, wedding dresses are like all clothing. They come from the global garment industry. After agriculture, manufacturing textiles is the world's most polluting industry. In the country of Cambodia, minimum wage is $2 a day, and many workers are forced to work 12-hour shifts. Again in Cambodia, 4 out of 5 workers are women who come from rural villages, like the woman coming up, Bopa. She works long hours and has lived apart from her family for 8 years. And despite her sacrifices and being apart from her children, she's living paycheck to paycheck with no end in sight. So that's the kind of thing I was thinking about when I was planning my wedding, which was a major bummer. Do you think I was any fun to be around? And that was not what I wanted to be thinking about. I wanted to share and extend the joy of my wedding. I wanted a wedding dress that would improve the lives of everyone who touched that dress. So now I'm really thrilled to present to you my new social enterprise. It's called Celia Grace. We make ethically sourced wedding dresses. And it's a line of dresses where the story behind the dress is just as beautiful as the actual dress itself. This exquisite concept begins with worms. These ugly buggers are where exquisite high-end silk comes from, and for thousands of years, people have been raising mulberry trees and silkworms for centuries of silk symbiosis with these lovable Lepidoptera. But more importantly, with Celia Grace, women like Bopa get to stay in their home village with their children. Yes. They earn a living wage, and these women are also preserving a craft that's been passed down through women in her family for generations. Celia Grace seamstresses work under safe, fair, and empowering conditions. These are smart, talented, professional women with upward mobility, and they're taking an active role in managing their sewing collective. The women who sew our dresses work limited hours, they earn a living wage, and they get bonuses twice a year. And the only secret behind these dresses is that these women get paid maternity leave. Hey. Daughters and nieces and cousins to school. And these women go on, they grow up, and they become the doctor who cures cancer. And then the first ever female Secretary General of the United Nations. Okay, so maybe one wedding dress can't do all of that, but it can improve the life of one woman and one family. And that's how we empower women and we start to break the cycle of poverty. And imagine if everyone made that decision. Together, we could start to change the world. And we change the world by introducing the people who buy things to the people who make things. And by doing that, we make sure it's a just and joyful system for people on both ends of that deal. Now, I want to stop right there because sometimes ethically sourced clothing, it can be a little bit, well, out there. So I just want to make it clear, Celia Grace wedding dresses are fair trade and eco-friendly and ethically sourced, but they look like the classically beautiful wedding dresses that we've all come to love. So, as couples are planning their wedding, and as brides are picking their special dress for their perfect day, they now have a better opportunity. They have a wedding dress that's bigger than just one day. A wedding dress that makes every day more beautiful and more joyful for those women who are making that dress for her. And weddings are different. Weddings are more meaningful, they're more important, they're more symbolic. So even if we can't buy fair trade or local or organic every day, there's a time when it makes a lot of sense. And with weddings, that's one of those times. Because weddings, ultimately, are about the same thing as the fair trade movement. They're about bringing together two people, and they're about bringing together two families with love and respect. And in the end, what we see is a wedding dress that has the power to unite women across the globe on this most meaningful day in a woman's life, and where the only surprise is how much we have in common and how much good we can